Welcome to another episode of You Really Know God. This episode is God real? We'll start off with Colossians 1:16. For by him all things were created, in heaven and on earth, visible and invisible, whether thrones or dominions, or rulers or authorities. All things were created through him and for him. The topic actually came up a couple weeks ago for this. And sorry, we've been way off path on recordings and so much going on.
There's been a lot.
I know we always say this every time there's a problem. We say there's so much going on. Yeah.
Hopefully, once we get this new shot, everything will calm down.
But we got a lot of stuff going on. But
Yes.
in our mind, don't mind us tonight. We have so much on our mind because we've got so much stuff going on. News we've been hearing. We're trying to create a radio ad
For the shop.
and we just got so much going on right now. But question is God real? Legitimate question, I just have to say.
I think it's a fair question.
A lot of people say he's not real because I can't see him. Best phrase I heard the other day was, can you see oxygen? How do you know you breathe in oxygen? Can you see it?
Well, that argument I don't like too much because you can't.
You can't see oxygen.
Not in its natural form, but you can freeze it and make it a mist. You can...
How do you know that mist is oxygen?
Well, what else would it be? It's whatever you're breathing.
It could be nitrogen.
Well, whatever you want to call what you're breathing, that's what it is.
But you don't know it's oxygen because you've never seen it.
Yeah, I guess.
Do you believe?
But that's just a name because this is.
But do you believe in $1 million? I guarantee you, most of you out there haven't seen $1 million. So how can you believe in $1 million?
Yeah. Well, there's that one, but one of the biggest ones I've thought of or I've heard of is they say, have you ever seen your brain? The reason I say that...
A lot of people I know it's not real, but anyways.
The reason I say that is there's a lot of different types of conspiracy theories out there. But the argument with that is you will never be able to look at your own brain. Never. It is impossible for you. Because if you're able to look at your own brain...
Actually, I have to disagree with that. Okay, I watched Hannibal Lecter. And on Silence of the Lamb. And he has a girl's skull cut off at one point, and he's eating her brains, and she's wide awake. And they say you can cut your skull off, and you feel no pain, and your brain can be exposed, and you can be awake. So technically, if you did
But can you see it? Because your optical nerves are connected to your brain. So once you take your brain out, you disconnect.
Not the brain out, but if you have the skull off and use your mirror, you can see your own brain.
Well, how do you know that's not just something deceiving you?
You don't.
And that's the thing. And it's one of those things where, like...
And if you want to get into factors like that,
yeah.
I'm looking at your phone right now. How do I know I'm looking at your phone?
Well, and
how do I know it's not a hologram?
Yeah, and I know I've brought it up on the
I've
podcast
seen the Matrix
before, but there's the Thursday conspiracy, and it's called the Thursday conspiracy, but it's not set on Thursday. It's just a random day that whoever created it chose. But think of it this way, and actually this doesn't work very well because today is Thursday that we're recording.
Yeah.
But for all of you watching on Friday, this will make more sense. But it's, how do you know the world wasn't created last Thursday? And, people's arguments are most commonly like, oh, because I remember my 5th birthday. How do you know that wasn't implanted in your head? I remember, or I seen my grandfather served in World War II. I didn't know that wasn't implanted in his head. There is no proof. There is no physical proof that the world was not created last Thursday. And that's the thing, it's kind of like that saying where they say your brain lives for 5 to 7 minutes after you die, and they say that you're replaying your life, and that time inside your consciousness is longer, so you've relived your whole life
in that time.
Yeah.
Now you think about this. You can go on a theory. They say when you look at this up in the sky and you're seeing those stars, half of those stars you're seeing are not there no more. They're dead. Mm-hmm. They've been dead for 1,000 years. They're just so far away. It's over 10,000 light years away. If that star died 1,000 years ago, it's still going to shine bright for another 9,000 years.
Yeah. There's stars that far away. The sun is 8 minutes away. As far as how fast the light travels. So like really, when you look up and you see the sun could not be there anymore. It could be exploded, but you won't know for another 8 minutes.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things that, and you know, there's some stars that are farther away, like you said, that are like thousands of years away, that they are shining so bright that we can still see them,
even though they're not there no more.
And it's a form of time travel, but that's a little bit off the subject.
But the point of the subject is everybody who don't believe in God, they use this excuse of, I can't see him, I never seen him, so I can't believe in him. So the factor is that we're trying to prove to you is just because you can't see it don't mean you can't believe it.
Mm-hmm.
Because you do believe in oxygen, even though you can't see it. But you believe it because you're told that that's what we're breathing, that's what's keeping us alive.
No, yeah.
But you can't see it. But that you got scientists telling us that it's there. But if you're not a scientist and I am not a scientist, how do I know it's there? I'm taking the scientist's words for that it is there.
Well, and there's certain things that, you know, like, and this is a common video, so I'm sure everyone's seen it. But there's a video of this dude, don't even know what year it is or whatever, but it's security camera footage. This dude walking down an alley in a thunderstorm gets struck by lightning. Gets back up.
Oh, that poor guy.
Yeah. Gets back up, walks maybe like not
10
even
feet.
10 feet, gets struck again. Dude gets up again. And
That
he
poor
walks
boy.
another maybe not even 10 feet. Gets struck again before the camera cuts off. So you don't know what happened. But there's certain things, like I always say, there's coincidence and there's fate. Oh, Cupcake, what are you doing? Cupcake.
He's still good?
Yeah, we're good. Sorry for that. We had
No bounce.
Yeah, we had a dog interrupting with the podcast. We're gonna have to exercise the Satan out of her later. But there's a difference between coincidence and fate, and I love to say that, and I use it all the time, because there's just certain things they say that getting struck by lightning, the chances of you winning the lottery 1,000 times is greater than you getting struck by lightning once.
He pulled back 3 times.
And this dude
2 minutes.
3 times within 2 minutes. I'm sorry. There's no coincidence in that. Somebody, I don't care if you believe in God, if you
He
believe
pissed off the gods good.
I don't care if you believe in God or Allah or whoever you believe in, Zeus, but he made someone mad, right? There's no ifs, ands, or buts. And, you know, a lot of people watch that and they think it's funny.
And the worst part is there's another couple walking up the street.
Yeah, and they just run.
20 feet from him when he got hit the second time by lightning, and you can see their face like, oh boy, I'm out.
Yeah, and they just run. And the worst part is tall buildings around him that you know have some type of
Trees.
antenna.
There's trees around him.
Yeah, that definitely should be getting struck by lightning before him. That's why I say there's a difference between coincidence and fate. But they also say the chance of you surviving a lightning strike are,
So, slim to none.
I think it was like 3 out of 10. You have a 30% chance of...
Well, he used all 3 strikes.
Yeah, you have a 30% chance of living if you get struck by lightning. And there are many cases of people getting struck by lightning and surviving and, you know, things like that. But this dude got struck 3 times and still survived. 3 times. I'm sorry. Yeah, you're laughing, but can I stress to you, 3 times this dude got struck by lightning within 2 minutes.
You know, I would be going home. I would be doing Hail Marys.
I wouldn't even be going home. I'd just find the closest ditch and lay down and just wait for it to be over.
I would be doing every hill. I would be going to the nearest church and
I'd definitely be going to church. Yeah, but and the reason I bring this up, and if this guy watches our podcast, first off, I want to meet you. Bless you if you need it, because I don't know if you do or not.
You need shot, that's for sure.
But I reach out anyway. But this poor guy, he's internet famous, and no one even knows what he looks like. No one knows his name, nothing like that. He's some mysterious dude. But
he's probably finding by the birthmark on the back of his head.
Yeah, right. But the reason I bring this all up,
that voice right now.
The reason I bring this all up is because him surviving that is an act of God.
Yes.
Like, a lot of people would sit there and be like, oh, he really made God mad. God was trying to kill him. If God's trying to kill you, he going to strike you with that first one and you're going to die. There's no ifs, ands, buts.
God was teaching him a lesson.
God was either 1, teaching him a lesson, or 2, just trying to keep the man alive by everything he could.
He's probably having a heart attack, God. He's like, oh, no, not now. Boop, there you go. You're back up and running. Oh, yeah. God, again? Yeah, again.
But, and that's the thing, the way I look at that, which I've found talking to people is actually a very uncommon thought process, but I honestly feel like the devil was trying to kill him, striking him 3 times, but again, 3 times! The unlikelihood of that is astronomical. But that is proof right there that God exists. Because I don't care how good you are with numbers. I don't care how, mathematically gifted you are. That does not happen by accident.
That is even scientifically almost impossible.
Yes. It is so improbable to the point it is impossible. And that is a sign of God right there. And I personally feel like that the devil or someone was trying to kill that man. And God was like, no, I like him. I need him.
Or he pissed off God, and God's like, I'm going to teach you a lesson, you bastard.
He was, who was that dude that ran from God's calling?
Jonah? Not Jonah. Judas.
No, Judas was his brother. No, the one who ran from, God was like, hey, I want you to go here and
the one who got put in the belly of the whale.
Yeah, it was Jonah.
Jonah, yeah.
But anyway, yeah, maybe this was a whole Jonah situation where God is like, hey, I need you here. And he started running the other way, and God was like,
nope, get back. You're still going the wrong way. You're still going the wrong way.
We're in Salt Lake City. There's no nearby whales here, so, sorry, guy. Boom, lightning. But, no, that's an act of God that he survived. And, I know I'll never get this information, but I would love to know who this guy is and what he's doing, because he has to be doing something good, whether it's publicly or not. He has to be doing something great for you to survive 3 strikes and not die. That is an act of God. That is somebody's looking at you. And there's so many things where, people are literally should be dead, but they're not. And you have doctors and scientists and everything saying, oh, no, this is impossible. Well, hello, you're in the real world right now.
And you gotta think about this. The reason why we're talking about this is you can see God. You can feel God. And you can hear God. And you know God's there just by feeling Him. You don't have to physically see Him with your eyes. You see Him and feel Him in other areas or other ways. And part of the things that we want to talk about on this, and the reason why I want to get in, because people say, obviously, like we talked about, is I don't believe in God because I can't see Him. You can if you open your eyes. Yeah. He ain't going to look like a person in front of you. He ain't going to look like whatever you want in front of you. You're going to see Him in mystical things. You're going to see Him in strange ways. You're going to see him in other ways. Just like oxygen you breathe. You can't see it, but you can feel it because you're alive. You're breathing. We're taking the scientist words word on it that, hey, we're breathing oxygen. Well, we know we could be breathing carbon monoxide, and that's what's keeping us alive. I don't know. I ain't no scientist. I'm taking their word for it. But I can feel that I'm alive. So I can feel that oxygen, what they're saying I'm breathing, is keeping me alive. It's the same with God. You can't see him, but you can feel him. You can sense him. You can hear him. And you can see him in different miracles that happen.
Right, and there's so many things that, you can see God. It's just whether you choose to see it as God or not. Like, I'll use an instance that just happened today. And I'm not going to expose any names or anything like that. But here at the shop, we have this certain person who owned a business right behind us when we first started. And he's been a very good friend of ours ever since. And he loves Fords. And he has, I would say, thousands of them. And we recently hired a new technician who is one, I'd probably say the first technician since my brother that has actually stayed around and done decent work.
That we can rely on, that we're not going to fire tomorrow.
Yeah.
Maybe the day after, but not tomorrow.
Yeah. But he's a good technician. Well, we have found out that he's living out of his car with...
He's down on his luck and he's homeless.
Yeah, he's
out
living
of
out of
our
his car
patch
with his wife, and so we...
His puppy dog.
Yeah, and his dog. And so we've been doing what we can to help him, but...
And trying to find him a place to live or
to
something.
rent or...
We got him in hotels a few nights. We got him hitched up with agencies that's been giving him money for hotels. We're trying everything to basically help him get back on his feet.
Yeah, exactly, and keep him out of the weather as much as we can.
And we basically running out of options because to get any type of apartment, anybody who's a human being on this earth knows that's not the God to get into an apartment for multiple different reasons. One, you need money for first, last, and security, which he does not have at the moment. You need, a lot of them, he has a pet, so a lot of them say no pets.
Yeah.
And the other is you need a lot of money. And then you got...
And you need decent credit.
Yeah, and some of them, they got to put you on a waiting list or whatever.
Yeah.
You got to have decent credit. Oh, there's so many rules to get a damn place to live these days.
It's really obnoxious, especially here in North Carolina.
Sure.
But he, the friend of ours stopped by today and had mentioned something about him wanting to sell a camper. And so Dad jumped on that opportunity. He was like, hey, how much do you want for the camper? We can, negotiate something. We're trying to help this guy get a place.
And originally told me $1,500.
Yeah. And he decided to drop it down to lower than that, and
he dropped it down to $1,000.
Yeah.
And he said, because I told him, I said, the guy ain't going to have the money. He can give you $500 next week and then another $500 next month. And he looked and he goes, you know what? He's a tech of yours. You like him? I said, yeah, he's a really good guy. I said, he's does what he can. He's a big helper, big heart. He goes, tell you what. Tell him to come pick it up. He can give me the $500 next week and the other $500 next month. He goes, tell him to come pick it up. Drive it to here.
Yeah, and so, I mean, and this is the thing, he's an older man.
Retired veteran.
Well, I'm talking about.
Oh.
He may be too, but he's an older man, and he, like we said, he's down on his luck, and I'm not gonna lie to you, like he's got a bubbly personality, but when I took him to pick up that camper, I've never seen a man so excited in my life. And it was just one of those things where seeing that and, seeing how, like, the camper is not in great condition, but it's in livable condition.
It's workable. Very workable.
And he has to do some cleaning on the inside and whatnot. I've never seen someone so excited to clean in my life. And, he
went over to Dollar General and he came back with a bag of all kinds of things.
Cleaning stuff. And, it was crazy. And we're letting him stay out here in the lot, and he's already, I want this spot because, and like he's had this whole thing planned, like he just got his dream house, and seeing that, and
now this is something that I can tell you, most of you average people who have not been down on your luck would go by and say, I wouldn't live in that.
Yeah.
Here's a man, we just gave him a mansion.
Right. And it's just one of those things, like, I believe that as an act of God, and I believe that
God made everything line up.
I believe that certain people are in your lives for certain reasons. And, I'm not saying this is our friend's specific reason, but there's just so many things where if we had never met this person,
who knows where he'd be?
We would have never been able to get him this camper. And
not that, the guy who donated it or gave the camper for a cheaper price, he could have sold this camper for a dollar amount easily by next week.
And he even said himself he didn't really want to get rid of the camper because he likes it a lot. He said if it was in any better condition, he wouldn't even consider.
And plus the situation for our employee, like he said, he needs a place to live. He can't be living in his car.
Yeah.
But everything lines up, and even talking with our mechanic, he's always thanking me for everything we do, and he's telling me, he said, we are the first ones. He's so glad he met us because we are the only ones who actually gave him hope and opportunity that he feels that maybe he can get off his bad streak.
Yeah, and there's so many things, and a lot of people chalk that up to, being good people or.
And it's nothing we did. It's God.
Yeah.
I can honestly say there have been times like I felt bad because I had no money to give him to put him in a hotel, and I know he slept in his car for like 4 days, so him and his wife needed showers. And I felt so bad because I wanted to give him money to go in a hotel, but I did not have it. And blam, out of the blue, one of the local churches turned around and paid for a week for him to be in a hotel for a week.
Yeah.
Out of the blue, the church just, hey, here.
And there's certain things that, like if I had the opportunity to offer him, even if it was just for a shower or whatever, come over to my house, have a warm meal, take a shower and all that, I would 100% love to. But one, because of the dog rule, I live in an apartment that has no dogs. And two, because for him, that's a long drive for him.
He's very humble. Because
Yes.
I've offered him to similar situations, and he's very humble. He don't want to feel like he's imposing on anybody either. So that's another thing. Like, he will turn you down on stuff to come to your house and stay at your house. He feels like he's imposing. And him and his wife is so humble. They're the most humble people I've ever met, I think. They don't want to feel that they're imposing.
They're some of the nicest people I've ever met, too.
And I'm telling you, this is all God working in this plan. And if you don't believe in God, you can come around us and I can show you stuff just in this shop alone. If it wasn't for God, it would never happen.
Yeah.
We've been very blessed at this shop. There could have been so many more bad things could happen. There could be so much different. Every time we get into time of trouble, when you think we're down and done, God steps in.
Yeah.
And he finds us an opportunity. We're running an opportunity right now where we need to find a new building because our landlord, who is supposedly a godly man and pastor, is doubling our rent. Well, with him doubling our rent, we can't afford it. I can barely afford the rent right now. So we have to move.
Which the rent is already entirely too much.
Yeah, and everybody even telling me it's crazy what I'm paying for rent right now. But I've been looking and looking and looking and looking and looking for another place, and it's so hard around here to find another place that's even halfway decent. And now, right now that we're really strongly pushing, we have 1, 2, 3, 4 places now at our grasp that we could choose from. And one of them really is got our hopes up a little bit right now. That just fell into our lap. And I had a meeting with that guy today. But this is all God set up because it was funny because I just had out with my landlord. And I told Devin and my son Christopher, I said, dude, we need to do something because we need to be out of here within a month or two. Because I can't take it no more. And it's going to be either we got to get out or Fifth Dimension's going to close. One of the two. And no, and this is no lie. There is, and then you can't tell me this ain't God. No lie. Within an hour later, the O'Reilly sales rep came and showed up. He was talking to me and said, "Hey, by the way, you were looking to move. Looking to move, right?" I'm like, "Yeah." He goes, "Here, I got a number for you to call. He's been in business for years. He's a good, has a good, strong business, and I think it'll be perfect for you because he's looking to retire. So,
Yeah.
go talk to him about taking over his place."
Yeah, and there's just certain things that, even outside of the shop and even outside of, blessings like life saving, or blessings like with our tech, or us possibly getting a new shop and things like that. There's so many things that you can just look at and say, wow, that you can tell that's God. And, one of them is, I'm sorry, I will fight anybody on this. You cannot walk into a mountain, walk into a forest, walk onto the beach, and just anywhere in nature and say, wow, that's beautiful because it's random.
Oh, that's beautiful because man made it.
Yeah, it's just one of those things. I'm sorry, things that beautiful don't happen naturally.
No.
And it's certain
Sunsets,
things.
sunrises, look at them.
Yeah, there's just so many things that you can look at, and you can tell that it was designed perfectly. Like, have you ever walked through the woods, or climbed a mountain or whatever, and you just look at the way things happen naturally, and how God designed it, and you just look and be like, that's ugly. Because I can promise I haven't. I've never looked at nature and said, oh, that's ugly. Because here's the thing, is God designed the earth for us. God designed everything on this planet for us. And it's one of those things where, imagine you're building a house for your kids.
Yep.
You're going to make it as beautiful as possible. You're going to make it so they want to keep it nice and they enjoy their time there as much as possible. And it's the same thing with God.
Exactly. God is there. You just gotta look for him. You gotta listen for him. You gotta feel him. Think about this: think when you're thinking about God, think of you're blind. You're blind. A blind person, if you're female. You're blind. If we went got by to saying I've never seen it, or I can't see it, so I can't believe in it. A blind person, that means everything created he shouldn't believe in. He's never seen it. If he's born blind, he's never seen the Empire State Building. He's never seen a building. He's never seen you. So
never seen the ground.
You're not real. It's not about seeing to believe.
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to see it to believe it.
You just have to experience it.
You gotta feel it. You gotta hear it. You gotta experience it. You gotta look for it. It's all over, and you don't have to look hard. Everywhere you look, you see it. If you believe it. Just as you've never seen $1 million. You believe in it, right? You never seen it, but you do believe in it. Same concept of God. Yeah, just because you didn't see him don't mean he ain't there. Don't mean he ain't real. Because he is, trust me. I have proof, and I've seen it over and over and over and over and over and over again.
And another thing
blessings.
Is, just because you think you haven't seen it doesn't mean you haven't.
Exactly. Don't forget, our minds are very narrow-minded. Like we talked about in the past, we cannot concept the thing of infinity. We cannot concept the thing of no beginning and no end. We cannot concept it, wrap our head around the thing that God created himself, because nobody created God, because he's been here forever. We can't, our brain cannot wrap around a number or an object that don't end. Our brains must have a beginning and an end. And unfortunately, with God, there is no beginning and there is no end. It's infinity, it's eternity. Our brain cannot wrap around those concepts because we can't see it and because we can't wrap it. The universe, there is no end to the universe, but our brain can't make that concept that there's no end to the universe. Everybody feels that there's going to be an end, but if there was an end to the universe, what's on the other side? Think about it. It's infinity. So if it ended, what's on the other side? A building? Another planet? That means it continues. Because you can't just end, because what would end it? What ends something that never ends? You got to have something there to end it, but what's going to end it?
It's like a circle.
And I think that's a lot of reasons why a lot of people are doing this whole thing that the earth is flat. Because they want to end it. Because if you consider Earth round, there is no end to Earth. It's round. It's continuous. Continuous. Constantly spinning. It's constantly round. It's round. There is no ending to the Earth. No matter which way you go, there's no ending. You're not going to just eventually just be walking and be like, whoa! Fall off the edge of the Earth. Although there's people that think the Earth is flat and that will happen.
No, flat earthers believe there's an ice barrier around here. Antarctica is really just a big wall made of ice.
Oh, yeah, what they think now? Mm-hmm. Oh, okay. I watched there's a Facebook meme the other day I seen. It says the flat Earth, what was it? The flat Earth, what is it? Surfboard competition. 30 people entered. Only 2 came out alive. I thought it was funny. I showed a bunch of surfers going off the edge of the Earth. But the thing about God is real. He is 100% real. I feel him. I felt him. I see him. I heard him. I've been blessed by him multiple times. And there's blessings that there's no other way to explain other than God had a hand in it. There's just no other way you can explain it. Because stuff does not happen by coincidence that often. And if you think about stuff that happened that's coincidental in your life, think about how often that happens. It's impossible for it. It's a numbers game. It's impossible for it to happen on a daily or on a weekly. It's impossible. The numbers are just too great to happen. And anybody who's a mathematician, they'll understand this. And our scientists, you'll understand this. Things cannot happen that often on its own. It's a numbers game. It can't. It's impossible. But it does. Because God has a hand in it. God is helping you along. Heck, every morning you wake up, right? God woke you. Because there are people that God hasn't woken. And they find out sooner. So, seeing is not believing. Believing is seeing, though. Once you believe, you will see. So with that, what's your comment section?
Mine's going to be simple and short, but I want you to look back on your life with this new knowledge we've given you, and I want you to comment back. How many times did you experience God without realizing it?
You don't know if you don't realize it.
Well, looking back on it.
Okay. Can't say. You don't realize it. You don't know.
Looking back on it after all we've said and everything we've, told you, how many times do you think you may have seen God, you just didn't realize it at the time?
Yeah. That's good. You realize that the breath in your lungs, the oxygen in your lungs, that's God. It's God in you. You just gotta believe it. My comment section. Yeah, I guess I would too.
Just real quick, I get a tattoo for everyone that dies. that I'm close to, when you die, my tattoo is just gonna be, it's gonna be a Tupac.
That don't be scared.
Don't be scared. It's gonna be a Tupac.
That's it. It's gonna be a Tupac. Don't be scared. First part. So, one is I'm gonna kind of go deep and blow your mind a little bit with this. True state water is clear. You can't see it, so how can you believe it? You can't really see true water. You see the dirt and the water floating around, but you don't see water itself. But yet you can drink the water. You can feel the water. You can definitely hear the water. But technically you can't see the water. But you believe in the water. So why can't you believe in God as you do in water, as you do in air, as you do in $1 million? Second part. So I'm basically saying, try and feel, try and see without using your eyes. Use your heart. Second part is, this is what I want you to do. It's kind of a challenge. Find like the most peaceful, quietest place away from the cities as you can, whether it's out in the woods or wherever, as quiet as possible. By yourself, not with like a bunch of people horsing around. Go by yourself. Spend 1 hour just laying there. Clear brain, totally 100% clear brain. Clear yourself. Just lay there for 1 hour. And just watch the beauty around you. And then come out and tell me you don't believe in God. It's what I want.